Bro, when people, what I got from that is he's a hater. You don't know me as a person. Let's say you don't like me. Like, you don't know me. Like, you feel me? And I don't give a fuck. Him. And everybody in the crew, I mean, with him.
Tank stopping a lot of people. You know, probably felt like, man, we fought when we were some little kids.
Right.
Man, I'm about to knock you.
Gervonta, Tank Davis recently criticized Terence Crawford, calling him a fool for pursuing a fight with Canelo Alvarez. Tank questioned Crawford's motivations, suggesting that money was the main reason behind the move. Following Tank's comments, British boxing promoter Eddie Hearn weighed in on the potential matchup, while Hearn acknowledged that Crawford is a once-in-a-generation talent with exceptional skills. He expressed serious doubts about Crawford's chances against Canelo. Hearn stated that despite Crawford's remarkable abilities, he doesn't believe Crawford could overcome Canelo's power, size, and ring experience.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35. 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like, he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized against Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. But you have to use your movement. If you're Terence Crawford in that fight, the last thing you want to do is stand and trade. He'd be moving a lot in that fight, trust me. I'm not saying he'd be running, but he would be moving a lot. Of course, that's the way to beat him.
Yeah.
I think he's a little bit concerned, having spoke to him in the past, that if he beats a guy that's coming up from 147 to 168, is he really going to get the respect for that?
Meanwhile, adding fuel to the conversation, Canelo Alvarez actually praised Terence Crawford, calling him a great fighter and saying he appreciates Crawford's fighting style. But Canelo didn't hold back either. He pointed out that Crawford moves a lot and admitted he prefers an aggressive, toe-to-toe brawl in the ring. Canelo confidently stated, "For me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. Easy money." He went on to say that Crawford might think fighting in a heavier weight class is easy because of his talent, but the reality, Canelo said, is far from it.
Very good fighter. I like how he fight, but that's why there are weight classes. And he knows now.
He knows now. You think he felt?
On the flip side, Alexander Usyk has thrown his full support behind Terence Crawford in the potential clash with Canelo Alvarez. As a friend of Crawford, Usyk didn't just express confidence in his abilities, he also added a bit of humor, calling Crawford a crazy man. But Usyk was serious when he said this. Crawford has the technical skills to beat Canelo. Coming from a master technician like Usyk, that's no small endorsement. Echoing the growing excitement, Tyson Fury weighed in on the potential clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, calling it a compelling matchup. Fury praised both fighters, recognizing the elite skill and accomplishments of Canelo and Crawford, and labeled them as true top-tier competitors. The heavyweight champion even admitted his personal interest in the fight, saying he'd be more than willing to buy the pay-per-view just to watch it go down.
Wow. Friend, but it's crazy, man. Listen, I say Terence win. Yes.
What? Terence win over Canelo?
Yes, Terence win. But listen, Terence is different man. Terence work in two stojka.
Two sides.
Two sides.
Right.
And a switch hitter.
Yes.
He's a switch hitter.
Yes.
Right and left. But it's very smart man. It's very, very, very smart.
In a surprising twist, Errol Spence Jr. publicly showed support for Terence Crawford in a possible showdown with Canelo Alvarez. Despite their heated rivalry and recent history in the ring, Spence made it clear he'd be rooting for Bud if the fight happened. While he stopped short of making bold predictions, Spence said he's definitely riding with Crawford, win or lose.
Good fight. I think, listen, everybody can do what they want to do, and if he believes in himself, then go for it. Why not? I think he's an awesome fighter. Both of them are. Both of them are exceptional fighters. And I would be one of the people paying for a pay-per-view to watch it.
Is the skill level of Crawford equalize the weight, in your opinion?
I think if they fought, they'd obviously be the same weight, would they not?
Yeah, so Crawford going from 47 to 68.
Maybe he would bring Canelo down to 60 or 54 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Do you have a favorite?
I don't really have a favourite. I like both fighters. Both very different skill fighters in their own ways.
As tensions continue to rise, Terence Crawford didn't hold back when speaking about Gervonta, Tank Davis. Crawford made it clear is not a fan. He said there's just something about Tank's personality that rubs him the wrong way, calling him an arrogant little dude. While Crawford gave Davis credit as a solid fighter, he made it known that when it comes to Tank's attitude and the way he carries himself, I'm not feeling it at all.
I mean, it could happen. I mean, why not? If Crawford wanna challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great, you know. So, you know what I'm saying, I'm with it. So, you know, I'll be going for Bud, you know, if he fight Canelo, I'll be going for him. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna win or lose, but I definitely be going for Crawford. I think if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off.
Yeah. But no,
He's chasing greatness, so why not? Canelo came up to 175 and all that, and fought Kovalev and fought the other guy too. So I mean, if he can do it, he started at 147. So I mean, if he's doing it, why can't Crawford?
Never one to stay silent, Gervonta Davis fired back at Terence Crawford, dismissing him as a hater. Tank questioned the criticism coming from people who don't know him personally, using Crawford as a prime example. He said, people love to form opinions without ever actually knowing you. Davis made it clear he's unfazed by outside noise, especially from those he feels are speaking without real insight.
Being competitive, like when that happens, or is it like...
I just really don't like that dude.
Why though?
Cause I just don't like him. Like I really don't like him. That's like
just not your cup of tea. That's just not your.
Yeah, I don't like nothing about him. I just felt like, you know, he just one of these little arrogant little dudes that's using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he's in the limelight and stuff like that. But in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
But like his core personality and his ways.
Doubling down, Davis took another jab at Crawford, this time targeting his motives. Tank claimed that Crawford's real reason for chasing a fight with Canelo isn't about legacy or competition but about the money. According to Davis, the main driver behind the matchup is the huge payday that comes with facing one of boxing's biggest superstars.
When people, what I got from that is he's a hater. You don't know me as a person. Let's say you don't like me. Like, you don't know me. Like, you feel me? And I don't give a if everybody is cool with him, I mean, with him.
To stir the pot even further, Gervonta Tank Davis continued casting doubt on Terence Crawford's undefeated run. Tank expressed surprise that Crawford has remained untouched despite climbing through multiple weight divisions. While acknowledging Crawford's skill, Davis brought up past moments, like when Yuriorkis Gamboa caught Crawford with clean shots, as reasons to question his recent dominance. Then he went a step further. Tank hinted at something suspicious, referencing SNAC nutrition and drawing parallels to the infamous Balco scandal from 2005, led by current SNAC CEO Victor Conte. Davis didn't hold back, alluding to Conte's past legal issues and using it to cast broader suspicion over Crawford's current form.
Crawford needs the money?
You think he had a chance to win?
But what makes you say that? You know, I mean,
He need the money. I'm telling you.
Does he have a chance to win though?
Tyrone ain't playing like that, and they ain't playing like that.
So you don't
see they ain't playing like that.
He's going up three or four weight classes. You think the chances of him?
That's why he say why he don't like me. That's the real shit.
Going up those weight classes to face him, you know, how can you convince fans that he can beat Canelo?
I ain't trying to convince y'all that he can beat Canelo. He's a good fighter.
Terence Crawford didn't stay silent. In response to Tank's accusations, Crawford addressed the financial realities of professional boxing. He made it clear, chasing big paydays isn't selling out, it's part of the game. Crawford emphasized that going after a mega fight with Canelo isn't just about the money, it's about legacy, risk, and reward, and if those challenges come with life-changing checks, that's just smart business.
He's great at what he do. He got, and another thing, bro, I don't be wanting to, how these guys is, then he get hurt against,
Madrimov?
Who?
There you talk about Crawford got touched by Madrimov, is that what you
No,
said?
he got clipped by Gamboa, right?
Yeah.
Right? What the fuck he's looking this strong over the past year, these years. He ain't been getting clipped or nothing. So that's that snack shit. I'm telling you. Y'all laugh. I'm telling you. And that guy that a part of it, he been caught before. He went to jail
But Crawford wasn't done. He clapped back hard at Gervonta Davis, taking aim at Tank's recent fight against Lamont Roach. Crawford called out Davis for pulling stunts in the ring, specifically mentioning the moment Tank took a knee, and even without that knockdown, Crawford said what a lot of fans were thinking: Tank still came up short. He didn't do enough to win.
If I'm a boxer, he a boxer, you a boxer, we all need the money.
I ain't doing it for free.
I'm just as confused as you. I said, huh? I was just like, oh, that's crazy.
Offering a more analytical perspective, the Wade concept addressed the ongoing debate about Terence Crawford's size. Wade pointed out that people might be overhyping the weight issue, noting that Crawford doesn't even look that small physically and has had no problems moving up through weight classes. According to Wade, Crawford is handling the jumps with ease, and the narrative that he's undersized is likely exaggerated.
Steve Willis a great referee.
He is.
And he started counting, then stopped
it.
Like, they said, hey, you better stop counting. Oh.
Wow.
Hey, don't do that again.
You, being a boxing aficionado, you think Gervonta won that fight?
No. I don't think he won without the knockdown. You know, I thought it was a close fight, you know, but I would have gave the edge to Roach. He fought a great fight. Gervonta fought a great fight as well, but I just think he
Building on that same argument, Wade added that 168 pounds is a big weight class even for Canelo Alvarez, and Crawford agreed. In fact, Crawford noted that Canelo is often the smaller man in his own division. He pushed back on the assumption that Canelo would automatically have a size advantage, saying, people just assume he's bigger because he fights at a higher weight. To drive the point home, Crawford used Tyson Fury's loss to Alexander Usyk as a reminder that in boxing, size isn't everything.
I was going to ask you about that. A lot of people making a big deal about the weight. You just walked in here. You don't look like a 54 right now. You're looking a little more solid these days. And I don't know if this was something I got trolled into on Twitter, but I saw you'd stepped on a scale at 180, around 180-ish. Yeah. So you're not having any.
And then there's Dimitri Bivol, one of only 2 men to defeat Canelo Alvarez. When asked about the potential Crawford versus Canelo fight, Bivol called it an interesting matchup. He believes Crawford can pull off the upset, but only if he sticks to what he already does best. Bivol emphasized that Crawford's strengths, movement, distance control, and switching stances mid-fight could give him the edge, and coming from someone who's already solved the Canelo puzzle, Bivol's words carry serious weight.
I just think a lot of people is adopting other people's thoughts.
Okay, the group think.
Yeah,
okay.
You know, a lot of people not thinking for themselves. They just.
You can say that about a lot in today's day and age. You know,
they hear something on social media and then they just run with it.
Ah man, trust me, I know.
Yeah.
I've been known Canelo, the bigger guy. I've seen Canelo in person.
Yeah.
Even for him, 168 is a big weight class.
Facts, and he's always the smallest person in his division. When you got Usyk fighting Tyson Fury, you know, Tyson Fury was the massive fighter over Usyk, and you know the bigger guy didn't win.
Teofimo Lopez weighed in on the potential Crawford versus Canelo clash, calling it a great fight overall, but his leaning toward a Canelo win. Lopez acknowledged that Crawford might have a slight edge in ring IQ, but he believes the size difference will be the deciding factor. He suggested Crawford should test the waters first, maybe against a solid super middleweight contender, before diving straight into the deep end with Canelo.
Canelo, of course, he got used to this weight class more than Crawford. He needs to get used to this power, even he's big.
So how does Canelo beat Crawford? Do you think that's a stoppage?
He could beat him, he could stop him. It could happen anyhow, you know, from both of the sides. And Canelo, of course, will try to find some hard punch. I don't know, but I think it's an interesting fight against Crawford, of course. The best fighters in their weight classes, different styles. Just need to do his job, what he's doing well. You know, he's changing his stance, he's moving a lot, you know, he's keeping distance. Like this he could win, of course, not with changing.
Caleb Plant offered a different perspective. He pointed out that Canelo isn't as sharp as he once was and might no longer be operating at his absolute peak. Plant described the matchup as highly stylistic, noting that Crawford brings an entirely different toolset compared to Canelo's last opponent, William Skull. He praised Crawford as a special talent and made it clear this would be a completely new kind of challenge for Canelo. As for the outcome, Plant stayed neutral, saying he'll be watching this one purely as a fan.
Canelo, who you got? Crawford, Canelo? I still say Canelo.
I got Canelo too.
I still say Canelo. Ring IQ, I believe that Crawford has a bit more.
Yeah.
However, it's just the size difference. I think that where Crawford is lacking is that he should try to test the waters even with somebody at that weight class before facing Canelo. But hey, they say he's a dog, he's got shot in the head and drove to the hospital, so maybe that's just his mentality.
Hey, let's see. Only one way to find out till that day comes.
It's the only way, but I definitely think that it's a great fight overall.
Adding his voice to the debate, Keith Thurman expressed skepticism over Crawford's chances. He pointed to Canelo's speed, defense, and experience as dangerous weapons, and said that despite Crawford's incredible talent, is walking into deep waters. Thurman reflected on a time when Canelo didn't seem interested in fighting Crawford, comparing it to the Amir Khan situation, a risky fight that didn't offer high reward. Now, the stakes are different, but the challenge remains enormous.
I think it's the same Canelo. Not quite, but also I kind of figured it was going to be like that, honestly. You know, I heard Canelo say in the interview, like, I don't really like fighting guys who move around that much like that, and William Skull being a Cuban fighter, like, I knew he was going to do that. It's a stylistic matchup, you know, and William Skull don't fight nothing like Terence Crawford. So we're not going to see the same type of fight come September. I think we're going to see a great fight. You know, you may think about it for a second and say, oh, well, there's weight classes for a reason, right? But Crawford's a special guy, you know what I'm saying? And so I think it's going to be a great fight, and I'm just a fan on that one. You know, I just want to see a good fight, and I think it will be.
As more voices weigh in, the buzz around Crawford versus Canelo keeps getting louder. Fans are on the edge of their seats, eagerly anticipating what could become one of the most thrilling showdowns in modern boxing history. The excitement is real. The stakes are massive, and in boxing, anything can happen. Stay tuned, because this saga is far from over. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates on this epic fight and everything happening in the boxing world.
Can he win? Yes. Will he win is the big question, you know, because the potential of speed, high quality defense, you know, we saw it in the last fight. It's those little mistakes that end up having big consequences against Canelo, right? Floyd, Bivol, where's the mistakes? You gotta be, you know, you gotta get that 10 out of 10. You don't make mistakes, you know. It's like Tiger Woods. You don't miss putts, you know. 20 feet out don't matter, you know. You gotta be sharp up against Canelo. Okay. I remember Canelo talking about not wanting to fight Crawford because it just reminded him of fighting Amir Khan, right? Fighting the smaller guy, nothing to really gain, and if he wins, they're just, you know, there's nothing to really say. You know, when you have a legacy like that, he gets to choose what he wants to do with his legacy. What I love about Canelo and his career is watching him evolve after the Floyd Mayweather performance, right? Mm-hmm. When he was young, when he was, I mean, he's always flat-footed, but when he was young, flat-footed, and didn't have diversity to his style, and he got schooled. And what's the purpose of going to school if you're not gonna learn and get educated? Mm-hmm. And so when they went back to the drawing board, they didn't go back to the drawing board as a stubborn mule. They said, hey, what can we learn? Maybe there's something to this evasiveness. And just ever since then, you know, it's been Canelo 2.0. And I think we've all enjoyed Canelo 2.0.